Yo, this is the real deal, and we are back,
Hello.
baby, and better than ever.
Rested and recuperated.
Some of us rested.
Ooh, wait, who's not rested? I'm rested.
I'm not rested. But I'm so glad that y'all are.
Oh man,
Allie, you just got back from VaCay.
Hey.
I know.
Also,
I'm totally rested. I'm so glad I got back on Sunday, but I have Mondays off of work. And I'm so glad I gave myself that extra day because I didn't get out of my pajamas until 4 p.m. yesterday.
Nice.
That is the ultimate vacation strategy. Like, every time I don't do it, I always kick myself. Like, I'm about to go out and I'm like, I didn't give myself the day, but I'm assuming like I'm leaving tomorrow and coming back on Monday, and I'm just assuming that I'm not going to do anything on Monday, and that's just going to be all the rest of
like
the
a
day.
buffer day. Like you need a buffer day.
Yeah.
A
Need
buffer day. Seriously?
I know.
Buffer day.
People
Buffer
take
days
that
are-
for granted. Like I hear people get back and then they go to work the next day, and I'm like, that's bad for your soul. Like your soul is very
It is
unhappy.
bad. I like the way you put that. It is bad for your soul.
Yeah. I don't. You know what I hate? I hate when I don't take a buffer. Like, so I usually take a day before and a day after because I need a day to prepare for vacation. Because even like, okay, so this is I'm a procrastinator, but I'm always the type of person who's like almost up until like later today. I'm gonna come back and I'm like, I have to make sure everything is right. I gotta go get everything, and I'm still gonna forget something. I'm still gonna forget. I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna be in the airport and I'm gonna realize like, oh no, I left it on here and I'm gonna have to buy it again. But I like having that day because it makes me feel better. And then I have a day when I come back, because when I finally get back, I don't want to sit there and like, deal with it.
My flight for Denver left on Thursday, but not till like 8 p.m. So Thursday, I did like 3 loads of laundry, washed my sheets, cleaned my room. So when I came home on Monday, I knew I was like, my room is perfect. I don't have to clean. I can just watch Netflix all day. And guess what I watched? You know what I binge watched?
The real deal, all the episodes all the way through.
No, season 2 of Sweet Tooth. Because it's out. And
I didn't know it was out. Oh man,
okay.
I have to go watch that. Oh my gosh, yes! Like it didn't click until just now. Sweet Tooth was one of the movies that we reviewed in the original Real Deal that never got aired.
Yeah.
Dang.
But it aired
Wait,
in my mind.
I thought you guys did air it.
No.
I could have.
Matt Bracey.
Did you just show me?
Yeah, Matt Bracey was too upset with all the episodes.
Oh.
The episode qualities.
So before I even came on here, Bracey was trying to show me. He was like, "Look, I'm doing this podcast. Here is it." He was showing me episodes. I thought he already posted them. I didn't know they never was posted.
Nope.
Dang.
The secret unreleased Real Deal.
I don't like that. Because you got to meet me before you met me. That feels like yucky to me.
Allie, it took me like a couple of times before I even connected those memories together. Look, first off, when I say he showed me years ago. Like, years ago.
Okay, we didn't do this years ago,
We did do it years ago, yeah.
Like, he showed me.
You're old.
He showed...
Not me. Not me. You're old, not me though. I'm only 20.
Okay, so I understand this is a tangent, but I had my first moment where I realized that I'm old, and like people, like, you know that moment where you like someone young says something and you're saying something, they just look at you with a blank stare. That happened to me for the first time, and I'm just like, wait, no, what are you doing? No. It was about disposable cameras, because we were talking about disposable cameras, and they were like, I don't know what that is, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know? Like,
you didn't take one in 7th grade camera with you?
That sucks.
And then I was like, wait, and then they were like, oh, I was born in like 2004, and I was like, what the fuck?
You said disposable cameras. Like, you go to CVS and your parents buy you a disposable camera, and they probably were like, like sustainability? Like, you put them in the garden? No.
Oh my goodness. And that whole, like, they didn't know what a pager was, and I was like, oh god.
I think pager is reasonable though. because pagers fell out like late 1990s. Like, I'm not saying completely out, but like people started using phones as pagers.
Yes, and I'm okay, and I understand that. But then it was like, once I realized, like, oh, she never had a disposable camera. Then it was like, oh my god, do you know what film looks like? Do you know, like, I don't think you have ever actually experienced film. Like I had a whole memory of, like, when I was a kid, I had a toy camera that I used to get my family to buy me film for, that I would put into the camera and do the whole little thing. And I would just
film was expensive.
It was so expensive.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't know that because I'm only 20, but yeah, film was expensive back in the day.
Yeah, because you were born in 2002.
Yeah. Whatever would make me 20. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah, I'm sorry. I know that was a whole tangent, but like that happened to me this week.
That's a good tangent.
I'm waiting for the Matt Racy transition of, when did you use the disposable camera the most? Was it on a family vacation?
Ooh. Segue.
And to be fair, here's why I was mad that I did that, because we already had the vacation.
Yeah, I know. We already had it going. That's the only reason I didn't do it.
Because I needed to talk about it. But like, I was like, I know I'm allowing him to do this segue.
Yeah.
But I need to talk about this.
Yeah.
This is hurting my
I wasn't going to do it only because we literally went straight into it. And so I was like, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
okay.
fine.
It's okay.
I was still thinking about, like, I wonder if I should, like, try to squeeze it in somewhere, but then I was like, no, we already talking about vacation. So. Yeah. Speaking of vacation. Segue.
What
okay.
What about?
Yeah.
Oh wait, can I say something though really quick? I finally got my garden in. Oh, finally.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm waiting for right now is every year I've tried to do corn. This year I'm doing popcorn. Because you know what? I don't actually eat corn that much. And so I was like, why don't I make popcorn? Because I feel like I make popcorn pretty regularly.
How do you...
It's probably a different strain of corn.
Yeah, it's just a different variety of corn.
I didn't know you grew corn.
Yeah.
I remember you always being like, yo, I need you to take 20 cucumbers. Here's some cucumbers. I need to get rid of these cucumbers. But I never seen you with corn. Yeah, corn.
This is bad, but our corn is always like, eat me. Like, that's the kind of corn that produces out of a Matt Bracy garden. It always comes out like, I just want to die. And you're like, okay. Let me just throw you straight in the pot. So, yeah. So I don't like making corn because I think it just wants to be in a large open field, and each time I do it, it's in these small plates or so.
I totally disagree. Our neighbor feeds the birds like corn kernels or whatever, and because the birds fly across our yard, we literally had volunteer corn come up, like corn stalks, in our mulch.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
That's free corn.
Yeah, corn. Nice.
What's free corn?
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like you are in prime real estate to get a few chickens. Just sit there, have them run around, get fresh eggs. True. You know the price of eggs nowadays. You can make eggs.
I don't want to be a mother hen. Like, I'm so good. I'm so good on that.
Look, I'm just saying the option is available.
I'm just happy that I'm gonna have popcorn too. Popcorn.
Yeah. Let's circle back.
I actually don't know what the variety of corn is called for popcorn. Like, I was Googling, like, what is popcorn kernels planting for corn called? Mm-hmm. And Google was like, that was a stupid sentence, but I know what you're trying to say.
It's like,
that's me. Anytime I'm trying to Google anything for Photoshop, Google's also like, is this what you meant to say? Because what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
Sometimes
I purposely do it because when I want to figure out how to spell things, I'm like, Google, what is this? And he's like, do you mean this? That's exactly what I mean. Control copy. Thank you, Google.
Sometimes I feel like I'm just trying to like word vomit and hope that Google catches on. Like, I'll be like, hey Google, corn, pop, seed, plant, grass, garden, and then it'll be like, do you mean what kind of kernel?
What type of seed do you have?
Right.
To make popcorn?
And I'll be like, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Look, and then Google's talking in the background. Shut up, Google.
Hey,
Be quiet.
If I keep doing my movie nights, I want you to bring the popcorn one night. Does
I
that
will.
sound fair?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
dope. I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just slide it in and see if anybody notices. They were like, this popcorn is I'm just kidding.
This tastes fresh. Is this all natural? Is this organic?
This is
Maybe.
organic. Yes.
Maybe.
Farm, literal. Is it garden at the table now? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it would be garden the
Yeah,
table.
there's a
'Cause
table.
I could just pop it. I mean, I could pop it at your house, but I could also just pop it here and bring it.
No, you gotta pop it there. Get the fresh pop.
That's true.
You've never seen my kitchen.
I mean, I've
It's
seen
okay.
it. I can pop
look.
popcorn there. I can. I don't know about anything.
You
Oh,
can
okay.
pop. You can pop popcorn on top of a running
A
fire.
fire.
Yeah, on top of a fire. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, you could do a fire, but I was more thinking of not fire. I'm pretty sure fires aren't really allowed in city limits, but whatever.
All I wanted to say is that my garden is finally done, except for popcorn.
Good,
Oh, so close.
good. I'm happy for you.
I'm 8 hours away, and then I'll be ready. Okay, let's talk about vacation.
Vacations. Yes.
What is a vacation for you guys? Because I want to start by saying this. There's a difference between a vacation and a trip.
Yes.
And
there
for
is.
me, there's a very big difference in terms of anxiety and preparation. So, I just want to
Yes.
start by saying that.
If you're gonna say that, then I'm gonna say I've probably never been on a vacation since I've been a child. like I don't. Like
I feel like the point of a vacation is to relax or to unwind or to not necessarily not do anything, but to like not have plans. And the point of a trip is to have plans.
Yes.
Like to go somewhere to do something.
To do all the things, right?
Right.
A trip is exhausting. A vacation is relaxing.
Yes.
yeah, then I've only ever been on trips.
Which a trip and a vacation can look exactly the same and be different for different people.
This is really great because I went to DC last month to visit my sister, and I went to Denver this month to see my cousin. And both the DC trip, I've been to DC like once a year or twice a year for the past 3 years now. So this was the first trip where we purposely like didn't do any sightseeing. It was like, we've been to all the museums now, we've seen the monuments, like let's just sit on your couch and watch a movie because I miss you and I want to hang out with you, and we're gonna eat this whole pint of ice cream, and then we're gonna wake up at noon and do it all over again. Like,
Okay.
That sounds awesome.
yeah, it was like, I don't need to go see the Lincoln Memorial again. Like, I saw it 6 months ago. We're so good. Like, and I saw it 6 months before that, you know?
6 months before that. Lincoln's still sitting there.
Yeah. And like,
And-
even for, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear this.
Even for this Denver trip, like the first couple of days because my mom and my aunt went as well, we did like, it was like a trip, like every minute was basically full of like botanical gardens, the record store, the bookstore, we're going on a hike now. And so the morning when it was just my cousin and I after we took our moms to the airport, we were supposed to go to the art museum, and I was like, actually, like, can we not do that? Let's just sit on your couch and drink coffee, because I like hadn't had a chance to even like have a conversation with her. And so that's what we did for like 3 hours instead of going to the art museum, and it was normalized, relaxing vacation.
Now I don't know what I said.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Right.
No, because I'm just okay. So let me put it this way: I done a lot of stuff, but so for example, every year I go to Arizona and visit my family, and I don't really go there with plans to do anything or stuff like that. But there's always like little things where it's like, okay, every time I go somewhere, there's a checklist of things that I have to check off, right? When I go visit my family, it's like, okay, I'm going to visit my family. I want to go spend some time with them. That's a checklist I have to check off. When I go there, typically they'll be like, okay, I want to go to this place because, you know, I'm here in this location. This is another thing I can do. Checklist to go off. Let's say I usually go around Christmas time. So it's like, okay, I have to do the Christmas thing. That's another checklist thing to do off. And that's how literally all of my trips are. And I purposely keep those checklists small. So everything else I can just do like whatever. So for example, I did that for me going to see my family and doing all stuff. Another trip I went on was I went to Toronto, and when I went to Toronto, similar thing. Okay, checklist I want to do. I want to go walk around the city. Okay, I want to do this. I want to go and do this. And then I always make these checklists because if I don't, I will never do anything.
So you're kind of like hybrid a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think hybrid.
Okay, because that's literally how all trips I do function. I need the checklist so that things can like I need somewhat of a structure in order for me to really relax.
This is so funny because I feel like I'm the opposite, where I need to schedule myself rest time. Or I'm going to do way too many of the checks and be so exhausted that I can't even, I'm like Frankie all day because I've done too much. So you're the opposite.
The reason why I'm like this is because I used to do that exact same thing and I hated that. And so I was like, here's what we're going to do. I'm only going to have these 3 checks. After these 3 checks, nothing else matters. And then also another reason why is because trying to organize trips with people, everyone has like, there's all these things we want. And there was I remember we always be like, oh, we're trying to do everyone's thing. I remember eventually getting to the point where like I would go on trips with people and I just look at them then and like, you don't have to do everything together. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care what you do. And I'm going to like go off and do my thing because I don't want that stress anymore.
Yep. Is this like what vacations look like as an adult? A single adult?
I guess. I don't know. This is all I know right now. Honestly, this is how my vacations were when I was like a kid too, where it would be more so my family makes the checklist, but I'm just here for the ride, you know?
Yeah, but you're like forced to do those things as a child, right? Like you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, but like it because of my personality, I've never been like, I'm always like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'm fine with this. This is fine. I'm cool with it.
Do you really have a choice as an adult?
Fair. So yeah, Gracie, how about you?
You don't show up for Christmas, somebody calling you like,
like I said, my next trip, I was like, they were like, oh, you're going. I was always planning on going, but they were definitely was like, no, we're calling you to make sure you know it's not an option. I was like, I mean, I was going to go, but all right.
That's hilarious.
Feels good to be wanted.
I would like the threats to not be there, like the veiled threats of violence. You know, it's like, oh, you better be there. I'm like, wait, we don't have to do that. I was already planning on going. But yeah, but Brace, how are you? Because I went on a trip.
Yeah, you're being real quiet over there.
Yeah, I've been on trips with Bracey, and I've seen Bracey plan trips. I want to hear what he said.
So I think I'm the odd person out here because for me, a vacation is at home. It's always and forever going to be at home. 100%.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
Because I'm a homebody. Like any and everything that I can do that relaxes me is at home. I will never ever in my life go on a vacation to somewhere else unless I'm permanently moving there. Like to Dominican Republic and I'm permanently living in Dominican Republic. That and then it will be a vacation because I'll permanently be living there.
So you just wouldn't
because for me, so if a vacation is something that is intentional for relaxation and unwinding, there's nothing about traveling that like traveling gives me more anxiety than almost anything else. And part of that is because of the way that like me growing up and like we used to go on these really long road trips to South Carolina every year, and I used to puke in the car almost every single time. And this is like the era before like, you know, I'm only 20, but you know, before like cell phones and like video games and Game Boy.
That's true.
I'm saying this is the era, like, it wasn't fully integrated. Like, people had them, but, like, everybody didn't have them. It was still...
I had them.
Yeah, it was still new. And so, this is...
You know what?
And my dad bolted... This is how, like, ghetto this is. My dad bolted a TV to the inside of the van so that we could watch TV on these long trips. Yeah, VHS.
Outlet. My dad did that too.
It was literally bolted to the floor of the van. I was like, how do you know you didn't like bolt into something important? That's just how he was.
So this is worth it to shut the kids up for 2.5 hours while we watch Joe spin the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat on repeat.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes. I feel like this is one of those weird moments where I was like, man, I lived a really privileged life because the van we had the little spot at the top of the TV, nice. The little roller spot.
Must have been nice.
I had a Game Boy. And so I was like, yeah, man, if I didn't have any of those things, man, those cartridges would have been a hard time.
Yeah, I got it.
Go ahead.
No, what were you about to say?
I was about to say, the thing I remember about car trips is my family getting upset with us because I would have the game volume on and they would just get annoyed by the noises of the game playing and they'd just like turn it off. And so that was like the extent of, you know, what I did. But I also went on like a lot of trips and stuff like that. Like I didn't go on long trips like you, but we would take road trips to Chicago. We went to like Miami a couple of times. Every year we always had like a family reunion. Like, and so I would have to like go to like some city somewhere where we decided, because oh my goodness, because the way the family reunions were, it was like one family would have it 1 year, the next family would have it another year. So every year I was always traveling to some place during the summertime, and we would be like, oh, we got to go here this year. All right, next year we got to do this. And so I've traveled a lot. I couldn't imagine doing it without my Game Boy.
No. When we were children, my family took one trip to Florida for spring break, and that was it. And like that was like the holy grail, is we're going to Florida, and we would drive every time. We never flew, and it was, my sister also would throw up almost every time because she would be car sick. It was like, why did we do that? It was totally bizarre.
That sounds absolutely horrid.
Yo,
I feel for your sister because I get super car sick, and people don't believe me because because how calm I am. Like I'm always like, I just want y'all to know I'm not a great like co-pilot, and they're like, oh, you'll be fine. I'm like, no, I get really bad car sickness. And I say it just like that, and they're like, you seem fine, and I'll be like, I know I look like I seem fine.
I'm gonna throw up.
I was like, I'm gonna have my headphones on and be listening to TV or watching movies or playing video games the entire time, and I will not talk to you the entire time. It just happened last week, and then we got there, and the guy was like, I didn't think that you actually like would not talk at all. And I was like, I told you, like I don't like when it comes to being in cars that long, like I just don't play. I gotta survive.
I feel like the one road trip.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say the one road trip we went on, I didn't notice.
There's a certain amount of stimulus that I can handle. So like if it's a good deep conversation, like true. Like, that's usually enough.
Which is, that was wild that like it was like a 6-hour car ride where we just sat there and was on the same topic for the whole 6 hours.
Yeah. So sometimes that's really good, but usually I either sleep or I play video games or I watch TV the whole time.
Yeah.
Candace likes to listen to podcasts. And so sometimes that gets difficult because sometimes it's something that I'm pseudo interested in, so I can't, but I'm not really interested in, so I can't fully get into it, and I can't fully play video games or watch a video or anything because it's like I'm like I feel like I'm being tugged, so that sucks.
Right.
But yeah, if it's like a good conversation, then I can get into it. But otherwise, like I hate traveling. I like flying a little bit, and I think it's mostly because I can just look down and just be like like it's so far up in the air like a bird.
Flying. I've flown by myself a lot, and when I first started doing it, I was probably like 18 or 19, like when you legally can, and I was like so pro at it. And like I'm a great flyer now, but now I have the most anxiety I've ever had when the plane takes off. It immediately goes to like, should I call my mom now with that like last voicemail, or should I wait 10 more minutes? Like, can I take my phone off airplane mode? Like,
like how you go instantly to death.
Exactly, like that last one. Like you sitting there going through your eulogy, like this is how all the things you meant to me and stuff. And I'm not gonna sit there because like I've done that too. So
I do that every time I get into a car, so I feel you, Allie.
Yeah.
In the morning, I drop off the kids. I be like, okay, let's see, just in case I die today.
So I've flown a lot. I've flown a lot. I've flown a lot of different places, and I personally don't like flying. My preferred method of travel is train. Trains are the best ways. Yes, I love to train, but
very interesting.
I've flown a lot and I've gotten pretty good at it, but it got worse when I started going to school. So before I went to school, I would just get into the plane and be like, look, this plane was designed, it was made to do all this stuff, everything is fine, and that gave me some reassurance. When I went to school, I actually started learning the math and everything about it, and so now when I look at it, all I can see is, okay, man, I wonder what this plane's yield strength is, and is it exceeding it? How many times has it exceeded it? Oh man, I know that they didn't sit there and keep track of this. And so like that anxiety just starts running through me, and I just have to like shut it off and just be like, don't think about it. It's fine. Yeah. If the plane blows up, it blows up. It's fine. Like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Look, and me personally, I'm like, I am thinking about just sitting there preparing like a notebook that just in case if I die of my thoughts and feelings, so that way I don't have to have this weird conversation. It'll just be like something with my lawyer where it says in case of death, just send these letters out. It would be like a good 13 reasons why. It's like, yeah, I died, but look, this is how I felt. Don't be weird about it. Like,
that's how I feel too.
Like, just don't be weird about it.
Weird about it.
Look, because like there's a whole bunch of probably like unresolved stuff that like right now as I'm living, I'm just kind of like dealing with that will be inconvenient.
I
would just rather not.
I have like a pseudo will, kind of, not like a real like a wheel, but like a pseudo like a thing, like if in case I die, like that I want to go out to the world. I feel like it would piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people will read it and be like, wow, that's interesting. I don't think I would have thought any of these things about them.
Yeah.
I feel like
we should, except maybe Matt Bracey, you might not be able to do this, or you might have to be asleep for it, taking some Dramamine. But we should all do a train ride, and like in the fall when it's fall, like autumn time, and we can like be on a train for our podcast.
Yes, I would definitely do that.
We can do that.
Yeah, look, okay. Where do you want to go?
I would hate riding a train just because trains are boring, in my opinion. However,
trains are boring. First off, I'm mad you're like, I like flying because I could just look down and everything's fine. Trains have the best scenery as you going by.
What?
Like train scenery.
It's like being in a car, and you go, and then you stop, and then you go. Yeah, that's like the worst.
Okay, you stop at the stops, but a lot of the times you'll go through like
I can see
forest
like
or mountain
a
area
train
or-
in like Japan or a train in like Europe. I can see that.
No,
Like that
okay.
sounds like fun because then I can like actually see scenery.
You can
I
see
want
scenery
this
here.
for- I want us to have our own car. Like, I don't want to sit in like the 2x2
You
by
want to
2
get
by 2 by
the
2.
yeah. You want to get the sleepers. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely down.
Yeah, no, we can do that.
Where
That
do
sounds
you
like
want to
fun.
go?
Yeah, that's
Gracie, a better question. How long of a train ride can you do?
I
Oh,
know,
that doesn't
because
matter.
They have ones for, like,
As long as I know ahead of time, I can mentally prepare myself.
Well, how
All
much
right.
are you trying to spend? Because the one to California and back is expensive.
It is expensive, but fuck it, we can make it work. Like
I don't want
there's
to
one.
spend 6 days alone in the car with you guys.
No, I don't want to do that.
Respectfully.
But yeah, there is there's a 24-hour train that takes us to like New Orleans.
Ooh,
Oh.
you know what'd
Yeah,
be fun?
yeah.
Like
What's up?
to do interviews with random people on the train.
No.
That would be sweet.
But here's the reason. I would disagree because if I'm on a train and you just come up and say, "Hey, I want to do a random interview," I'm gonna be very like,
Then you're
I've-
stuck on the train with them.
I've
That's
had
why.
some very fascinating conversations with humans on trains.
I've also talking with someone and interviewing them are two completely different.
Okay, I'm
like,
not saying
social interactions.
interview. I'm saying like having them talk like as a guest on the podcast.
Have you guys seen Bullet Train?
Yes.
Yes.
Very
I actually
fun
watched
movie.
Bullet. I actually watched Bullet Train on a flight. And I didn't actually watch it. I watched it over someone's shoulder as they were
Yes.
watching it in the row in front of me.
Nice.
Not the best writing, but a very fun movie.
Yeah.
It was alright. It was enjoyable.
I thought the movie was very fun. I would rewatch it. I don't think like
Yes.
there was several plot holes, but I was like I don't even care because the movie was just really fun.
I definitely did already rewatch it because I watched it on the like literally I was on a plane when it just came out and it was on the plane, and then when I got to I was going to visit my family in Arizona and we watched it with them again.
Yep. I thought the comedy was good. The fighting, the choreography was good.
Yeah.
Like it was very entertaining and it had a good cast.
Some parts of it to me seemed like it was like trying too hard, you
Yeah.
know? And so then I was like,
Yeah.
but I do think it's a fun movie. I think that's a good point. It's a fun.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie. Not like the best writing ever, but like definitely fun. Like I could
I feel like
I could
would
rewatch
want to show I would want to show a movie like that for my movie nights, but everyone I know have seen it. So.
We should watch like a Sharknado movie.
No, that gets.
I want to watch like some so bad it's good movies.
To be fair, I used to do that all the time in school, and sometimes it is fine and it's enjoyable, but sometimes you just be like, bro, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to watch this bad movie. Like, I just want to watch a okay movie. Like,
I just want to be entertained for 90 minutes for the love of God.
Yeah, like, either it has to be like a terrible movie that is like so bad that we just make fun of it, or like the worst thing is just getting a terrible movie that's just like what is it?
For one of my film classes, we had this new professor, and she is awesome. I hope that she watches this episode. I might send it to her. But the first half of the class, every single week she would send us these movies. And when I say these movies were straight garbage, like absolute garbage movies, I was like, these movies are, and each week you would be like, this was the worst movie we've ever watched ever in life. And then we would talk about it in class and write a paper on it. And then the next week we would get another one that was worse. And you were like, oh my God, I did not think we could watch a worse movie. And for like literally 6 weeks, it was just like bad movie after bad movie. And then somebody finally was like, why do you keep giving us the worst movies ever? And she said, well, how are you going to write reviews on the best movies ever if you can't write a review on the worst movies? And I was like, I could write a review on any movie you give me. But that's just me. I guess for all of these other heathens, you probably need to show them some bad movies. But yeah, I was like, the first half of the class, I was like, I cannot do another bad movie. Please give me something good.
I took a film theory class I think it was my junior year. And I had no business taking it. My advisor should have never assigned it to me. It was like a graduate level film class, and I had no experience in film. But he was trying to fill a credit, and it was like super into like German film theory, and like it was so tough. And I was like, I totally romanticized it because I was like, I'm gonna take it over the summer. And I'm gonna be like in my house, no air conditioning, watching these movies, eating popcorn. It's gonna be great typing my little things. And it was like me crying because I didn't know what was going on at all.
German film theory. That sounds absolutely horrible.
You probably have read German film theory because you are you.
We had a couple of movies that were in German. Ugh, yeah.
It was bad.
As the one person who did not do film stuff, I'm okay with this. This is fine. I think there was one time I was going to take a film class and I just was like, nah, and I just like switched it out. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what I did instead. I think I took like some art or something. I think it was like an ethics class about film and stuff like that. Because I was more into philosophy and stuff.
I love a good philosophy. Okay, well, going back to vacation a little bit.
Speaking of vacations,
I think I'm more like Allie. Like I have to schedule like spontaneity, and so when I'm on my home vacation, I have time where I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna build Legos. Today I'm gonna like get this house, this No Man's Sky house in order. You know, and then there's other times where I'm like, okay, like today I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something. And then I wake up, and however I feel, like sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna go to the movies, and then go to the buffet, and then go shopping, and then, you know, and those are like the best vacations ever.
And so I would sit there and say that, like, when you were saying like, oh, today I'm going to do this, today I'm going to do that. When I do stuff like that, it still doesn't feel relaxing for me because it still feels like, oh, I'm doing work and stuff like that. The only time where I feel relaxed is when I just wake up and I do, like, I am so flighty and like, I don't know how to put it. I remember one time my brother said, it's like, you're just like a leaf in the wind that just blows around everywhere. And I'm just like, yeah. Because it's like, sometimes I'll just be like, all right, I want to do this. And I'll be like, doing it. And I'll be like, randomly, this is boring now. I don't want to do this anymore. And I just do something else. And that's just how I function.
Very interesting.
It's how I function. Like,
I like riding the bus.
Riding the bus is fun.
Yeah, like there's times where I'll...
Wait, stop. Let's go back. You like riding the bus, but you can't stand car rides.
Yeah, because the bus is lower. It's like the threshold for like the amount of time that I'm on a bus is low enough to where it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I know like I have to keep track of like when I need to stop. Plus I like to people watch. So it's like three pieces that work well together. And so
doing a bus for people watching is fun.
So sometimes I'll drive all the way across town and then park at the bus station just to ride the bus back closer to my house and go to some shop or whatever, and then get back on the bus, ride back across town, and then drive back.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I don't know. I just like getting on the bus is just like a vibe for me. Like you just never know who's gonna be on there, and
you could have just took the bus, like.
Yeah, but there's not a bus that comes to my house, so I have to go to I have to, and like instead of transferring, I would rather just go drive to the actual bus hub and then get off there and then ride the bus. So.
You know, one thing I really do love to do, and this goes into vacations and stuff like that, I really love walking around places. So, for example, like I said, one of the checklists of any time where I go to a place is I have to walk around this city, and I'll specifically be like, okay, me personally, I prefer to do it at night, but I'll typically do it at like different times just so I can get like the vibe of what's going on. And I'll just walk around different neighborhoods, just see what's around, seeing stuff, and I'll just keep doing that. And it's the most rewarding experience to me.
Yeah.
I also enjoy doing the bus, but like there's nothing better than just like walking down the sidewalk and just being like looking at all the different shops and figuring like watching people go around, watching people go to and fro and all that stuff. Seeing even just like looking at people as like they pass and seeing like, okay, it's like it's me basically taking my people watching thing and just taking it to the next level, because I just sit there and try to build what I think of the city based off of what I see and all the things that go around. Like, oh, based on all these shops here, how popular are these shops? What's over here? What's around this corner? What is this area for? I love walking around and finding that type of stuff out.
And you never know what you might find. Like, I always find little random shops that I didn't know existed. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, ooh, I'm gonna go get my car and drive back here.
Yeah.
I know this sounds very privileged. Like, hey, sorry, I just like riding the bus sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's because public transportation in general is not great in basically any city that's not like a major one in the United States.
Honestly, even in some of the major ones, they're still not even that great. Like
the subway system in New York City has been under a state of emergency for like 5 years now. Like, how long is a state of emergency?
Yeah, I know. And I'm excited because I'm starting to see a little bit more stuff gets put in and stuff like that. I'm like, cool, because I love taking like subways. I love taking trams. I love doing all this stuff. And again, one of the checklists when I was in Toronto is they have a little tram system. So I went there, bought their little tram system card. I still have it just in case I go back, and sat there and did it just because I wanted to ride the tram. I just wanted to have that feeling of riding it.
One time my sister and I, we were traveling, we were in Budapest, and the tickets are non-English, and so we bought our tickets and we like showed them to like the guard that's downstairs in their subway, and they're like, yeah, get on the train. And we got on the train, and then they have guards on the train with you as well, and so we showed them our ticket and we were like, we have to get off at the next stop, and they're like, no, stay on one more stop, and we were like, okay. But it was like a trick, because when the like second stop, they're like, you stayed on a stop too long, you didn't pay for the stop, you have a $50 fine, you have to pay it right now.
Yeah.
And that's not, like, can you believe that?
Yeah. No, yeah, this is one of the things when you travel, you got to sit there and like, one, traveling to a different like country or someplace where they speak a different language, I either always know someone who speaks the language, know someone who lives there, or speak the language myself, which I didn't, or it's enough to kind of get around.
I don't
have
enough time to learn all the languages.
Yeah.
What was you even doing in Budapest?
Living my best life. Having fun, getting fun.
Like, I don't even know what you do in Budapest. Like, you just go there. You say you go
to the thermal bath.
You go to the Budapest hotel.
It's not even there. It's fake.
Right. I know, but that's the funny part. But no, like, I understand what you mean, but this is why you develop friendships and you sit there and spread your feelers out.
How do you make the friendships with people in Budapest without going to Budapest? And I swear to God, if you say online right now, like, that's gonna be it for me.
First off, no. You find someone locally who's from Budapest and see where Budapest people like to come
online. It's easier to do that online.
It is easier to do it online. And here's the thing. Look, Ali. I am I grew up. I was that kid on the chat room messages saying, ASL. Like, I understand. We're like, I've had many a conversation with strangers who could have lied to me, but it's okay, because I had interesting conversations, and that's all I wanted.
Do you remember chat roulette?
Bro, I was talking about that today. I hate you, by the way.
What is chat roulette?
Chat roulette is
Go ahead.
a fascinating website. And now, I don't even know if it still exists, but...
It doesn't exist. It's Omegle.
Yeah, okay. Is it like Omegle?
Yes.
Because I've done that.
It's Omegle before Omegle.
Now, what is that?
It's chat roulette.
Okay. Yeah. And so, we used to do this in college back in the day. And,
when you were 20?
Yeah, when I was slightly under 20. And It was so like there. Okay, so there was a lot of penises. Of course, you had to.
Yes.
You kind of got to skip over those. It's just skip. Okay, actual humans.
Yes.
And
then what would you do when you finally found those actual humans, Bracy?
have interesting conversations.
No, Bracy, you would sit there and pretend you're British.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we did.
Not we, you.
We did that a couple times.
He keeps saying we. That's a misuse of the word we.
I mean, it was because I think it was like Michi Clean was there, Wade was there. Like we had a couple people there who we did some of that stuff with. But it was fun, like because nobody knew who you were, so you could be whoever you want. And then I got my virtual girlfriend.
You got a virtual girlfriend?
Yep, her name. I'm not gonna say her name because the ninjas can find her. But I met her on chat roulette, and I was like, "Hey, you kind of cute," and she was like, "Thanks," And like we were talking, and I told her I was like, like we'll probably never meet in person, but you can be my virtual girlfriend if you want. And then she was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be your virtual girlfriend." And so we,
No way.
yeah, no, literally. No. I mean, back in the day, I would, back when I was a couple years younger than 20, back
a couple years younger than 20, on the internet getting virtual girlfriend.
Yeah. And so, I had this virtual girl, and like we were just friends, like we weren't actually like doing anything.
Did you ever talk to her again? Like, did you? Find
her? I have her on Instagram and Facebook and everything. Like I said, we're just friends. Like we didn't do anything nasty or anything over the internet. Like it was really just like I had a really good conversation with you, and you're kind of cute. Let's just stay connected, and that's what it was.
Ellie, have you never not made internet friends?
No.
Oh my! Literally, my entire friend group is.
I was about to say the first time I went to that conference with you, it was like half the group was like people who you play video games with.
So, and honestly, we still talk to this day.
Yeah.
Some of them actually moved up to Michigan and lived with us for a while, but like. So back then, before when we had this Skype chat where we all played this game and we would just get in the Skype call and we would just sit there and talk. And it was similar to how Bracy was talking about. Like, and now to be fair, we were children. Like, I think I started doing it when I was like 14, 15. And I was talking to people who were way younger than me eventually. Like, my brother eventually got into the chat, and there were like people who were his age, and he's like 10 years younger than me. And so like there's like the ranges from me who's like right now 30 something to people who are right now like 19, 20 was all in this chat. And we would just sit there, and we were all connected by the game, but we would just sit there and go in and just talk about any and everything. Now, was that necessarily a good influence sometimes? Probably not. But some of these people are some of my closest and best friends. Like, I will sit there and we've gone through it, we've seen each other. And like, when I was talking about we went to Toronto, it was them that we went to Toronto with. Like, we just came together and we were like, where are we meeting? We were like, we're all going to Toronto.
Yeah,
so
they some dope people. And like you said, some have moved here.
I can't imagine making my like closest friends from like someone I've never met online.
Physically, yeah. I know, it's weird.
Well,
what if
all of them I met physically now?
Like,
no.
Okay, like, I love the show Catfish. How much do you relate Catfish to your experience?
It's not my story, but there was a catfish situation that happened, and it was wild.
Yeah, you should use proxies.
Yeah, but like it was just a situation where it was like there was this person, they got into a relationship, and then they found out that the other person was catfishing and just pretending to be. It was like a guy pretending to be a girl and stuff like that. But yeah, and then the thing is, like after the whole situation, he was still in the chat. Like, we didn't kick him out. Like.
Oh, that's awkward.
It was awkward, but Look,
That's funny though.
Again, we were like 14, 15, 16. Like, this happened from when I was in high school to early college. There was so much drama and messy stuff that happened.
I feel
there
like
was a lot of people who came and went, and things that happened, and the whole.
I feel like after
chaotic.
10 years, I'll be like, "Hey, remember that time where I pretended to be a girl and like you liked me?"
I mean, we still don't talk to them. Like, a lot of people died out, and the people you met are like the core group of people who kind of withstood the test of time.
I like them.
Like, there's only like a few people who you haven't met that are like really close, and like, actually. We'll talk about it later, but there's a few people who are like you play Project Zomboid with us. I
just appreciate that I've never actually been a part of this community, and yet I've managed to some way nuzzle myself into the community. The same with Nesby though. I did the same thing with Nesby and the same thing with LSAT.
True.
Like, yeah, I didn't know.
True, you were never an LSAT person.
Never.
You're right.
I just somehow like weaseled my way into the group.
Like, oh yeah, because you like know 5 people from there, and we're just like, come along, like just sit here.
Yeah. Then Dr. Aller like added me to the list and started like emailing me. I was like, I'm not even a part of this group, but I'll keep coming if you keep emailing me.
I mean, I understand. Like, I do that a lot too, but like. I did that a lot with like the like Japan Club and like all those people. I was never officially a part of those clubs, but I just hung out with the people all the time. And like,
I think I had a lot of friends in high school who like did that and like met their like boyfriend that way. And I also knew girls who like faked profiles to like trick guys and stuff. And I think I was so afraid that was gonna happen to me and be like embarrassed. That I like, just never like was like anytime like a guy was gonna message me that I never met before, it was like fake bye.
I mean, to be fair, you never knew who I was, and we met and we talked and we had a good time. I mean, true, you had Bracy to tell me I was a real person, but
well, I think that's the exception is that I trust Matt Bracy, and so therefore
look how well it worked out. I'm great.
Yes.
but yeah, no, I understand. And to be fair to your fears, those things are things that happen. There's a lot of like things where you just get used to where like when you're online, you just kind of like know like, okay, these are the rules. This is how you interact, like stuff like that. But it's also wild because like literally the first time you talk to someone online, you just hit them with that ASL. And like, I don't even know if people still do that, but like age, sex, location, just to like, that's just the distillation of
American Sign Language.
No, it's ASL. Like that is oh man, I'm about to be real fucking nerdy. So one of the first things I did was there was this website called Guy Online, right? You make a little anime character, you go in there, and in there was like a few games, and so when you go into the games, other people can join you, and it's like little like, oh, it's a little fishing game, or it's playing blackjack. And so I would just go in there, sit and just wait for people to come in, and when people come in, you just sit there, talk to them, and you sit there, connect, blah blah blah, and then like if they're cool, you add them as a friend, so then you talk later. There was also like chat rooms and stuff you can join where you could like talk about specific topics. Honestly, that era was when I was very political, and so a lot of the conversations I would have would be with other people who were very political. And so I met like a lot of people. I remember distinctly there was this guy, he was like back then I was very, very, very much more on the left-leaning side. Like a lot of you would have appreciated me a lot more back then. But one of the people I talked to a lot was this like not staunch Republican, but he was a staunch Republican from Atlanta, and we would just sit there and debate like political stuff back and forth every day. And like those memories, those times are like what made me who I am, and like the most memorable parts of my life. And like honestly, I kind of miss those. Like I miss just being able to go online and talk to strangers.
I'll say this. So when I was in college, I don't even know where I got this Xbox 360 from, but I had this Xbox 360, and I really wanted a PlayStation. I'm trying to figure out how did I end up with an Xbox when I was never an Xbox person. And also, where is that Xbox? It has to be somewhere. Okay, this is random thoughts. Like maybe after this, I'm gonna go search for that Xbox somewhere. But I had this Xbox and Destiny 1 had came out, and I was playing Destiny. And you know, when Destiny 1 came out, you could do matchmaking for like their I forgot what they were called, but they're like group missions.
Crucible.
Yeah, Crucible, not the Crucible missions. Crucible is player over player, I think. It's PvP.
Okay.
But the
raids.
Yeah, the raids. Yep, you could do the raids with random people. And I met this guy who I thought was really interesting. So I added him as a friend. And then he was like, hey, I play every single day. Like, whenever you want, like, just hop on if I'm on and we'll just chat. So I started, like, whenever I got back from class, I would hop in and he would be there and, like, we would chat. So one day I was like, I'm just gonna ask, like, hey, how come you're on here every day? Like, do you have a job or what do you do? And he was like, oh yeah, well, he was like, so I actually have like cancer, so I'm bedridden. And I was like, what? And like we had this whole conversation, and he was just like telling me about all of this stuff about like him and his wife, and like he has one kid, and like he can't work right now, so he's just been playing like this game every day. And he was like, I've met some really interesting people on here, and like before this, and I was I'm an engineer. I was studying engineering. Before this interaction with this person, I thought to myself, I would never I can't fathom how people like meet people online. Like I know like you can, but like it never clicked for me. But then after listening to this person and realizing like how interesting his story was, and being like, oh my gosh, this guy's so fascinating. And like then I started to think about like my little brother, who is 16, 15, 14, 15, 16, something like that. Yeah, there somewhere.
Around those age, yeah.
Around that age, yeah. And how all of his friends, all of his closest friends are online. And I was like, at first I was like, no way, like that's not possible. But then it made sense. Like, you spend all your time with these people and have these interesting conversations and talk and have fun, and you're playing these games together, and you know, as you get older, you'll change to a different game, and then y'all play that together, and so and it's the exact same as an in-person relationship. It's just not in person. And
how do you know if it's real?
Well, but that's what I'm saying is like it is real. It's just not in person. That's it.
The thing is, like, how do you know your friendships with the people around? Like,
yeah.
So the reason why I probably have more online relationships than I do is because I moved around a lot as a kid. So I don't have like friends from school. I didn't grow up with people. I was always like here for a couple years, and I left. High school and was like the longest place I've been before college, where it's like, oh, I've been in the place for 4 years. That's a long time. And so let's say during high school, I literally, fresh into high school, I made friends and I knew a couple people, but for the most part, I didn't really, like, I hung out with them and I hung out with people, but every day when I got home, I was talking to them. Like, instead of like calling your friend that you met in class and stuff like that, we would go online and be like, yo, this is what I did in class today. And like Grace said, I met people all over the world. I knew this girl who was in Korea, and me and another friend talked about her like the other day. We're like, we don't know if she's like okay. Like, we haven't talked to her in a long time because we don't use the Skype chat, and she wasn't there when we moved. Like, that's the biggest thing, is like sometimes you just lose connections because like, you know,
crazy.
Like, yeah, well, I'm one of those people because I would get in trouble a lot, and like when I would get in trouble, my family would punish me. They're like, oh, we're going to take your computer away and stuff like that. So I would just go months and months without being online, and then I'll just come back and it'd be like, okay, who's here? And reconnect with people, see, hey, who's still here, who's going. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Without my cousin, I probably would have not stayed in that group as long as I am. The reason why I constantly kept going back to that group is because he was there, and so I would just go in there, hop with them. But I do that. Like, I have that group. I have another one where I'm like basically with my little brother. He has a group of friends that they are online. Now, true, a lot of his friends online he met when he was like, you know, in person, but some of them were just people they met and they just stay close. And
fascinating.
A relationship is relationship no matter the medium.
And I think what I think is interesting about that too, though, is that the idea that you can be friends with literally anybody, like race goes away, age goes away, like religion and, you know, all of these orientations go away, socioeconomic status goes away. All of this stuff just kind of disappears because you have this screen in front of you. So like you have nothing to know about the other person besides what they tell you, but y'all have this medium and then y'all have this entity that connects you, whether it's this game or this show or whatever, and then y'all relationship starts with like that as the seed, and then it grows into this grand thing.
What I would say is that when you have, it's not that you don't, like, how can I put it, your face that you present, who you present yourself as on the internet can typically be a more truer version of you, because when you're talking to someone, when you're doing all this stuff, when you choose an avatar, when you choose an image, it's always something that is like close to you. So if you see something that someone and you connect on it, that connection is real because you really care about that. It's just about that, you know, combination. Like, again, all this friend group. Go ahead.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I agree. I think it's true that when you do meet someone online, your guards are down because you don't know all those things and you're talking to a screen, so like you can be a lot more harsh or even empathetic than you normally would be. But when you meet someone in person, then it almost seems like disingenuous, right? Because then you're not seeing this like really vulnerable, straightforward version of the person you've been talking to.
No,
because then you're nervous and then like you're reserved, right?
Okay, so you've been in the corporate world, business world, right? Have you ever like had an email correspondence with someone that you had to like work with, and then have you ever actually met that person?
Yes.
It's like that, where it's like, it's not that this person is all that stuff was a lie. It's I have a face to a name now. Like, this same connection I had is still the same connection. It's just tied to this person. Like, so this is going to be a story about how I was a dick because I didn't really think about it. One of the times when I was in college, we had a couple of our friends come down and visit us, right? They're Canadian, so they literally got in the car, drove like 6 hours to come visit us, right? I knew what they looked like because I've seen pictures or something like that, right? So I already knew what they looked like. They came and knocked on our door, and when I opened it, I recognized it was them, and then I just slammed the door on them because I was just joking, you know, having a good time. The problem is that they've never seen me before, so they don't know what I look like, and so they were just like, "Yo," we found this out later. They didn't give them the exact address. They just told them the complex. So they've been going around knocking on doors trying to figure out which one was the right one. So they just thought like, oh, this was another wrong door. I eventually opened it and let them back in. But I was like, they told me that story and I was like, man, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was just being a dick. I thought it was gonna be funny because this is like, we're just joking around like we normally do. And so they came in and then we had a good time. We sat there, we had a thing, and now like, again, like I said, I went to Toronto like a couple months ago, and we all got together and we just sat there and had a good time. It's how can I put it?
I think it's also cool because like now I have friendships with these people that like are outside of you guys. Like me and Tea Time, like we text back and forth about baking all the time. And like, I'm like, this is your friend group that I kind of like plucked this one person out that I was like, I like this person and I'm going to hang out with them.
Yeah,
y'all can keep y'all friendship, but I'm gonna hang out
and
with
she's
them.
still baking and doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And like again, she lives here now. Like,
right, she moved here because she
She-
actually liked the
Yeah.
community that we had.
She moved here, then left, and then moved back. And the same thing with like another friend of ours who like moved from Idaho all the way to over here, and is also
Yeah, she
talking
needs to
about
move
coming
back from Idaho. I hope
she's
you're
talking about
watching
getting a
this,
house.
because Idaho is lame. Thank you.
But yeah, and like that's just a thing that happens, and like oh my, and that one specifically, she not only moved in because like a lot of this friend group has like 2 or 3 members of my family. Like she like went on trips with my family and like knows my family intimately. Like my family knows her and it's like, oh yeah, this is like a thing. She's just like, she can just come to like family functions and we'll be like, yeah, she's here. This is what happens. She just comes along now. I don't know. Maybe it's weird. I don't know. I could be weird. I'm not sure, but this is my life and I'm enjoying it.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
But you look horrified.
I'm not horrified. It's just I can't relate to this at all. I haven't, like, my experience is like through like a Hinge date, like someone I've talked to online that I meet in person. Clearly, all of those have gone poorly. So like, my best relationships are with people that I meet in person first.
You know what's funny is that I don't do any type of online dating or anything like that. Like
That's so backwards.
I don't know, man. Like this is boring. Like
yeah, I don't think I could do that either.
Yeah, like
I keep getting Love Is Blind vibes. Like each time I think about like friends who do online dating, I'm like, ugh.
It's not even Love Is Blind. I feel like I have been called a tease and I've been told that I would just be a like, cause I would just sit there and do all this stuff and then be like,
face.
do you want to go out? And I'll just be like, like I'll talk to someone a lot, but like physically going out to do a thing, like you had to, you had to basically have a really good conversation with me before I'm like, yeah, let's go out. Like if I'm just sitting there just talking and flirting, I'll just be like, oh, I'll just keep doing this. Like, oh, let's meet. And I'm like, all right, if you want, like maybe if it's convenient for me, like. But I'm very honest about it, though. Like, I'm very upfront. And first off, you're shaking your head. This is about a theory. I don't even do this. This isn't even something that happened. Like, we're talking theoretically, if I were to get these profiles, this is what I would do. I would just flirt a lot and then never actually commit to anything.
Yeah, dating are good for like instant validation, and like that's basically it.
It's not even instant validation. It's just me having fun. I do that in real life, too. It's just, you know, yeah. This is what's fun for me. Like, I'm sorry.
Not for all of us.
I'm sorry. I don't. I usually do it in good nature, and I make sure to have like these real clear boundaries of like, this is what's probably gonna happen. But you know, yeah. Man, this vacation conversation really
it's very. It's a very interesting, very different take, but you know, you know how it is. This is
how about internet vacations?
You said what?
Internet vacations. Vacationing in VR, man. Let's do it. I don't have to go to Italy. I could just put on the headset.
We should all do virtual reality one time for a podcast too.
We should.
We should all go to chat. Was it VR chat?
Chat VR. Yeah,
I'll go and interview people for the podcast for that. I'll just go there and just talk to random people.
There'll be a bunch of kids in there though.
There is a bunch of kids.
Now,
but here's some of these kids' story is crazy. Like, that is the one thing about the internet. You will hear crazy stories.
That's true. We can you can make a chat room in the Facebook Horizon world and then set it to like 18 and only. And then you can do like all kinds of. I went to like a comedy room, and somebody built this whole little comedy house, and everybody was like laughing and telling jokes and stuff, and I was like, this is actually kind of dope.
I think that would be fun. Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to do that now. I'll go to that comedy room. I'll get up there and say some jokes. Yeah, make some laughs.
Get yourself a VR set.
Yeah, I will. No, I won't. I got things I got to do.
Well, we all know how it is.
Yeah, you know, I got responsibilities now. I'm not just 20.
I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you besides this has been the real deal.